Hello, everyone. I'm letting everyone in right now. We have a lot of people joining, which is amazing. I'm going to briefly pin my video, just so that it's not every time somebody starts talking. Also, if the rest of you could mute yourselves until we get started, that would be helpful, just so we don't end up with a bunch of background noise. Yeah, we're going to give everyone a couple minutes to get joined in. We have a total of 4 people that will be presenting today, the current board, although you are free to get in on that, which we will talk about during the meeting. So we're just going to let those who are joining join. I'm so excited to see all of you here today. This is absolutely wonderful.
I got a 0 out of 3 on the survey, so I'm kind of salty about that.
I'm so sorry. Everyone got a 0 out of 3 because I never clicked correct answers and I didn't delete it. So you are right at the average. You will pass the class.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
We believe in curving. Also, again, this meeting is being recorded. So this is for posterity because we are one of the first, if not the first, collegiate women machinists club. So we want to document as we go along. So just be aware and thank you for your patience. We still have some people joining. I would also like to thank our advisor, Dr. Jennifer Mullen. I see she just joined the meeting. She's been super supportive and wonderful, and we couldn't have done this without her. Okay, we've got Grace, we have Ruby. We are still looking for Tara. Here she is. Okay. Oh, this turnout makes me so happy. You're all amazing people.
Anyone wants to bring their favorite wrench? No? All right.
Oh, actually.
Avery.
I didn't bring my favorite wrench, but I recently got a new set of clamps that I love and I'm very excited about. So they're here for moral support. Okay. Wonderful. So excited. This is wonderful.
Wow. How many people came?
I love you guys already. This is incredible. Okay, we've got one here. Yeah. All right. Grace, Tara, Ruby, you guys ready?
Ready.
Ruby, Grace, Tara, do you guys want to mute yourselves just so we can talk about this as we go through?
Sure.
Okay, I'm currently not seeing anyone else joining. I am going to set it so that it will play the entrance chime if they do, so that I will be aware and do not leave anyone sitting alone in our waiting room, which would be sad. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Again, thank you guys so much for coming. I'm really excited about this, and I'm really glad to see that there's such positive energy about this, because I think this is going to be an amazing opportunity for all of us. So just a couple organizational matters. We are recording this meeting for posterity so that we can say, this is where we came from. This is partly because we are one of the first, if not the first, women's machinists club at a collegiate level. So we're really exciting. We're making history. And if you could, we've all been through Zoom U, so I'm sure you know, please keep yourself muted as we're going through this. We're gonna have a Q&A at the end, at which point you can ask questions, provide ideas. We really wanna hear from you guys. Thank you to everyone who filled out our surveys. We really, really appreciate it. That's information that we need to be able to make sure this is the most positive experience possible for you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. We're gonna go through a short presentation on what we have and where we're going. Let's get this party started. In a moment at least. Let me... Oh man, people. My computer is currently angry at me for having so many things open at the same time. And share. Welcome, everyone. Everything is fine. Just kidding, y'all. Welcome to the Women Machinists Club. Today, we're going to be going over introductions of the current board members. Then we're going to be talking about our mission statement, the board applications, which is how you guys can get involved, our vision for the future, some of the frequently asked questions we saw in the surveys. Again, thank you so much for that. Ooh, we've got another person joining. You know, actually, Ruby or Grace, could you be the one to share the screen so that I can let people in as they come in? Grace, would you
You
mind?
have attendee sharing screen disabled, but I can share mine if you give me permission.
All this does. You should have permission now.
Alrighty. So here we go.
Okay. Everything's fine. All right, so we were going over the agenda. So we're going to go over the frequently asked questions that you guys asked in your surveys, and then we're going to do a Q&A at the end to see what you want to see going forward. Next slide, please. Okay, so who are we anyway? What are we doing here? My name is Catherine. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a third-year biological systems engineering major, and I work in the biological and agricultural engineering shop. I've been machining there since I was it was beginning of my sophomore year. Time flies. I am you may recognize me because I'm the external vice president of Engineers Without Borders, so I may have come to your classrooms to do visits. And this summer I'm working as an intern at SAP, which I got partly because I've got experience with robots and machining things that a lot of people don't have that same kind of hands-on experience. Grace?
Hi everyone, my name is Grace Carley. I also use she, her pronouns. I am a third-year mechanical and aerospace engineering student, and I work in the Engineering Student Design Center. I've been working there since the beginning of my second year. I'm currently interning with Apple as a manufacturing design engineer intern, which obviously I'm doing manufacturing design, which is what I've done in the ESDC for the past 2 years, and that is what allowed me to get the position. And so definitely a huge proponent of manufacturing. Sarah?
Hi everyone, my name is Tara. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am also a third year mechanical engineer and also a staff member at ESDC, Engineering Student Design Center. Really grateful that for this upcoming summer, I will be interning at Amazon as a hardware development engineer.
Hello, my name is Ruby. I am a second year mechanical engineering student. I was recently hired at the ESDC, but I've been swinging hammers around for a while. And I'm pretty fortunate that this summer I was hired by NASA Johnson to do a now digital internship in the bioinformatics department, which I got because robots and machines and tools in space. Woo! Okay.
Woo. So why are we doing this in the first place? What convinced us that this is something that people wanted and needed? Well, let me tell you about my backstory. I first got into machining as a freshman through EDS1. I'm really grateful that my major puts us in the machine shop in our very first quarter here. And I knew immediately that I loved it. It was amazing. It was like nothing I'd done before. And I wanted in. So I basically showed up at the shop every quarter for a year going, hey, do you guys have a job for me? Expert trick, this does actually work. It's a great way to get employment. And eventually they said yes. And I started working there as a sophomore. It was amazing. It was a fantastic experience. I was having a time of my life. But I kept running into these gender issues that I hadn't seen before. There were questions being posed about my abilities and about my presence due to the fact that I was a woman that made me feel ostracized and like maybe I didn't actually belong here. Maybe this is something that wasn't for me. So what did I do about it? I actually reached out to the other people that are on this board, specifically Grace and Ruby, and said, hey, this is something I'm going through. Do you have advice? Do you have Have you had past experiences? And they were wonderful, and they really supported me in how to approach that and gaining the skills and the confidence to tackle those challenges myself. And that's partly why we're here. I want to make sure that every person of underrepresented gender gets the opportunity to machine and has that community to support and lift them up. So the purpose of the Women Machinists Club is to improve accessibility of machining experiences for students of underrepresented genders. We're specifically looking to do that by training y'all in machining skills and in building community. Now you will notice that I said underrepresented genders rather than women. This is because we want this to be an opportunity for people of all underrepresented gender identities to be lifted up and supported. And that absolutely includes our trans and genderqueer siblings. And again, just to make perfectly clear, this is not a man-hating club. We want this to be a very positive experience, something where we lift each other up and support each other and are just generally positive. I don't anticipate this being a problem. I think you're all probably very supportive, wonderful people. We will moderate though if the conversation is no longer constructive. Next slide, please. Thanks. Grace?
So moving into what our vision is for the club, looking at the next year, 2020, 2021, we're really focusing on establishing WNC at UC Davis and laying groundwork for sustainable growth and impact. But more of a long-term goal, so looking at the next 2 years, we're hoping to create an established space where people of all gender identities can learn without feeling impeded by whatever surrounding factors might be affecting their ability to continue in their career, whether it's social pressure, gender issues, anything like that. It's a place where they will be supported and have advice and resources in order to continue in their careers.
Ruby?
Thank you to all who got 0 out of 3 on my survey. I am proud. By the way, that was all of you because I made an error when making it. Anyways, how can you get involved? Well, that's a great question because we have 3 answers other than just general awesome membership. So as mentioned, Grace, Catherine, Tara, and I are currently officers of the club, and we are looking for 3 more wonderful humans to join us. So I hope that you all can read. I've still been learning, but I'm doing pretty good lately. Anyways, financial officer, that's the first option for a position. If you like money or numbers or both, or even neither, this could be a position for you. The primary responsibilities of the financial officer are maintaining and tracking all of our financial transactions, as well as looking out for sponsors. The sad reality of new clubs is that the number one thing we need to succeed other than enthusiasm and magic is money. So this is a very important role, and we hope we have some qualified and enthusiastic people to apply for it. Next up is the historian of the club. The only way to not make mistakes is to study history. And I think I botched that quote, but we're looking for people to record our beautiful history of the club. So you'll be in charge of recording our meeting minutes, which if you have any previous club experience, this is a fairly common job, but we most certainly can work with you to learn how to do it if you've never done it before, and maintain the Google Drive. And lastly, collaborating with the publicity officer to send out the email updates. So you'll have your name on the emails instead of mine. Lastly, we need a grad student advisor. You must be in graduate student standing. That is a qualification. Additionally, we're looking for someone who has a mentorship figure standing. You should have an open-minded attitude. You should be nice to undergrads. They're going through it just as you are, and share any machining experiences that you've had. And lastly, as I just mentioned, machining experience is a big bonus, but still not a requirement for this role. So if money, emails, or mentorship sound super enticing to you, please submit a cover letter, resume, and then fill out the survey that I will make this weekend, and hopefully you can get 3 out of 3 points on.
Also, just to clarify, the way that we're going to be running this is very democratic. I know words. So Grace and I are going to be the education and workshop leads. We are working on getting the trainings done, getting the education done. We have Ruby as our amazing outreach officer. She's the one that reaches out to you guys. And then we've got Tara as our amazing publicity officer. So she's in charge of being more company facing and then also working on our social media and whatnot. So that's who you'd be working with. We really want this to be a very even organization where we all work together rather than having it be very hierarchical. So if that's something you'd be interested in, please come and join us. We're eager to work with you. So these are some of the questions that we're getting asked a lot in the surveys that we sent out. Again, thank you so much for filling them out. Grace?
So how will this work during the pandemic? Obviously, when we first had the idea for this club, we were planning on starting it on campus in person with actually being able to bring you into the machine shop and maybe kick off some trainings. But given the current situation, we will be trying to host virtual events that will help to build community and impart what skills we can online. We're still kind of determining what that's going to look like and how it's going to work. So we just ask for your patience while we get it figured out, and we look forward to working with you.
Ruby?
Cool. More reading. Good thing I've been practicing. I need to be an engineering major to join the club. No, I mean, if you are an engineering major, that's awesome because I'm personally a little biased, but if you're not, that's totally fine too. And in fact, more people that aren't the same thing leads to diversity in thought and community. So if you have non-engineering friends who are interested, tell them to come with you digitally until this calms down. Next, do you need previous machining experience? No. I mean, it's cool to have previous machining experience, but it's 100% not a necessity, and we are more than happy to share our chaotic knowledge with you. Do I need to take specific classes in order to join the club? Emphasis on joining. No, you do not. Again, we want this club to be a space for everyone to form a community, to network, to learn and grow and support each other. So you do not need to take classes in order to join the club. However, you will need to take classes to use specific machinery. UC Davis has great lathes, mills, drill presses, CNCs, water jets, giant machines that if you haven't been in the ESDC or the BAE, you might not know that we have. And unfortunately, due to safety regulations, you do need to take specific classes to use that machinery. And that's one of the things that we will be working on most fall quarter, because I know the majority of you are interested in large machinery. But yeah, that's one of the logistical elements that will be hammered out, sorry, fall quarter. And I'm having a good time. I hope you all are too. I'm so excited for this. So yes, big machines, class. Small machines, no. Just common thread. Don't lose any fingers because we'll get in a lot of trouble. Join the club.
That being said, there are going to be some opportunities for people who haven't taken those classes to get machining training. It is going to vary a lot. So you might not be able to use, say, a saw, a mechanical saw, without having been trained on it, because that would be yikes. But as Brennan and I can attest, we were able to go to a high school in Rockland that basically just said, here's a welding hood, start welding. We're going to try to make sure that you guys are all going to get opportunities to do what you can regardless of the work, but safety really does matter, and we really want you to keep all of your fingers. So it's going to vary. Like Ruby said, we're still hammering that out, but even if you're not going to be taking EME 50, or even if you're not taking EBS 1 or BIM 110 or the other classes, we're going to find opportunities for you.
Yeah, because again, you don't need to be an engineering major to join the club. So we are 100% committed to making this as accessible as we can within reason.
Yeah. Just keep your fingers.
Okay, next question. How can I get involved? How can you get involved? How can we all get involved? So there are several ways to get involved. You can join our listserv. Also join us on social media, which is WNC at UCD. We just made this Instagram account like maybe 2 days ago. So nothing, we didn't post anything as of now. That is soon to change in the future. Other ways, you can come to our digital Zoom meetings. Also, as Ruby mentioned earlier, apply to our last three officer positions. And one thing I would like to highlight about these 3 officer positions is that they aren't, you don't need any kind of background experience. You don't need to be a machinist. You don't need to be working at some kind of machine shop or workshop to apply. In fact, it gets you a hand and a foot into like club affairs, get to know us four a lot closer, and then we all get to learn from each other a lot more during this time. Yeah, if you are part of any workshop or know anyone or know any machinists, please share. We're all a big, happy community, positive community, so let's increase our knowledge together. Also, I know a bunch of you, or maybe some of you, if not maybe none of you, are probably working on some projects right now or building something as of now. So if you are working on anything, share, you know. It's a good experience. Also, it's just great for memories as well. And if you would like to be part of our mentioned on our story, just tag us and we'll like put you on our story, and that'd be cool too. So everything right now is like all tentative, so please be patient with our planning. And yeah, thanks for coming. Do you want to go straight into questions, Catherine?
I'd say, yeah, this is a good opportunity for the Q&A. Grace, shall we leave up this slide for a little bit longer just so people can absorb everything that's just been said to them? And again, be sure to connect with us on Instagram. But yeah, actually, before we get into the Q&A, does any of the board want to say anything else? Or Dr. Mullen, do you have anything to contribute?
I just want to applaud you all for being here and for the team who's put this together and is leading it. And I can't say enough how important I think it is in our development as, you know, as successful in the world and our sense of empowerment, that we are able to build things and make things with our hands, and to be able to use some of these tools that a lot of us maybe haven't had access to or haven't had opportunities to use. So I'm just so glad to see you all here and to be part of this kind of historical moment and to be part of this community of support. And on a personal note, I have a dream of having a Class B RV that I want to build out because I have some family up in Washington, and I'm finding living in this area in the summer to be oppressive. And I want an escape pod that I can take my dog and go off to the beach. So that's my personal goal. Is I haven't really built out something specific for my own use. So I hope you have a dream too, and maybe it'd be great to hear some of the things you're interested in doing with your skills. So thank you for including me in this. I really appreciate it. I'm really proud of you all. And I notice a lot of faces here that I've had in Engineering 3, just if you don't know about that course. So it's good to see you on a new level, down and easy. And I hope you're all safe and well. So good to see you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mullen. I would like to encourage everyone to take Engineering 3 if you get the chance. It's a great opportunity to do some rapid prototyping, work with 3D printers, laser cutters, Arduinos, Raspberry Pis, breadboards, whole 9 yards. I had an amazing time. So yeah, at this point, I'm imagining a Q&A session. Ooh, Ruby has something that she wants to show.
Just a Raspberry Pi. Seriously, big shout out to Dr. Mullen. I would not have been hired by NASA this summer without her class.
Dr. Mullen's amazing. Okay, so at this point, I'm imagining somewhat of a Q&A session if there are particular questions that you guys have about what we do, ideas that you have, we want to hear. One thing that we can do, Grace, if you stop sharing screen.
Towards the very end, though, can I take like a screenshot of all of us here, and then we can have that as our first post? Oh my God, that's a great idea. Put that as our first post.
I love it. Okay, so the way I'm imagining this working, if you go into your participants tab, I don't know if your professors have been using this because mine haven't, but there is a raise hand option, at which point I will be able to see that you have raised your hand in the participants tab, because it will just pop up this little blue hand, which is great. Cool, okay. So if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand right now. Cool, Natalia.
Ideas too.
Go ahead.
We can't hear you, or at least I can't.
Yeah, I can't either. It says you're unmuted.
We can hear
You
you,
can
Kat.
ask the question in the chat also, if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute you. Yeah, I'd say given that we seem to be having some audio technical difficulties, do you want to ask a question in the chat?
Going in the chat. And if anyone else wants to ask a question that way, that's totally okay.
Order of magnitude estimate, how much funding do we need? Excellent question. That really depends on what kind of projects we're looking at. If we're looking to get our hands on just tools, we'd be looking at a few thousand. If we're looking to do big events, I have a friend who's the president of Hack Davis, and I know that she looks for 90,000 a year. Obviously, we're not going for that much right off the bat, but I think a few hundred to 1,000 or two would be enough to get us started with a few tools, that kind of thing. But ultimately, more money is better. Grace, do you have anything to add to that?
Just reiterating what Catherine said, we're going to start small, looking at getting hand tools, reserving spaces, potentially doing some small events. And then as we have the support and ability to scale up, funding needs will scale up accordingly.
That's wonderful you have experience. We would love to take advantage of that. Please apply. Again, we're going to be sending out an application that includes a cover letter and a resume. And we'd be delighted to hear about what you have to offer, because it's amazing that you have that experience and the ideas. That's really what we're looking for. Okay, so the next question.
The due date for the application is on June 12th, right?
Yeah, 14th.
I extended it to the 14th.
Okay, cool.
14th? Okay, no, 14th. It's after finals. So, okay, and Natalia, if you don't want to commit to a formal position, totally fine. We are looking for feedback. So actually, this is a good time to say, if you reply to the email that Ruby sent on the listserv, it will be emailed to her, and that way we'll all see it. We're also going to be sending out our email address, quote unquote, in the next email that Ruby sends out on the listserv, so if you want to email us that way, that also works. So freelance is amazing. We would be delighted to have your freelance experience. Thank you so much for reaching out. Okay, so the next question I saw was Fernanda.
Yeah, I have two questions. So the first one is, will there be in-person meetings in fall quarter?
That's an excellent question. At the moment, I'd be inclined to say probably not, given that we're not sure how in-person classes are going to work. The way I've been hearing is probably it's going to be lab classes that are meeting in person, but we don't want to put anyone at risk. So until it's safe to have big meetings again, I'd be inclined to say we're going to be doing most things virtually. Obviously, we'll be consulting with Dr. Mullen and the university on that, but for the time being, I'd say until we can safely meet as a group and know we're not endangering anyone, we are going to be meeting primarily online.
Okay, that's totally understandable.
You said you had another?
Yes, I have another question. So which classes would we need to take in order to use all of the machines?
I love that. I like that very much. Grace is the expert here.
I can take that one. So mechanical engineers take EME 50 as part of their coursework. That gives you access to the vertical mills, lathes, and drill presses of the Engineering Student Design Center shop. Biomedical students take BIM 110, which does a similar thing and also tags on the laser cutter. Anything outside of those machines requires a specific training. So things like water jet cutting, welding, 3D printer and laser cutter training are the easiest to access, followed directly by electronics room trainings. And so if you're not taking either of the coursework classes that provide training in the ESDC, there's also machine shop safety orientation. It's currently very small volume, but we're going to be doing what we can to organize access for those who won't gain access through their coursework.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so the next question I saw was in the Zoom chat from Emily. I think that was the next one. Yes. Are you going to expand your social media presence on LinkedIn and Facebook? I'm sure the College of Engineering would love to make sure we're an official linked page on those sites, which would reach out to a more mature demographic. I love that. That's an amazing idea. We're definitely planning to build out our presence on LinkedIn and Facebook. That's something that I think Tara is working on right now. Again, we're starting out, but that is definitely one of the next steps we're going to be making, which I think connects also to Kylie's question. Can we have a Slack workspace or something similar so we can all connect with each other, share info, chat about our interests, etc.? I love that idea. We're going to look into that. I especially like the idea of a moderated space where we can all talk about the different things we're interested in and also have some kind of structure to it. This is partly because I've had interesting experience with just giant group chats in the past. So the idea of a moderated Slack is, I think, a wonderful option. Okay. I think the next question I saw after that was Nicole, and then we're going to get to the other questions in the Zoom chat. Nicole, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, so just, do you know if the ESDC will be open in the fall, if there's like half in person, half lab, or half like online?
Grace?
We're not quite sure yet. We haven't received any sort of direction from the university that I'm aware of. If lab classes are open, obviously the ESDC is a lab space, although I doubt that we'll be open for much open use for fall quarter. Just once again, having to take in everybody's safety into consideration. It'll likely be a phased reopening as things become safer, and we'll keep you updated.
With 3 ESDC employees, you can assure you will get fresh, hot ESDC info.
Fantastic. Next question. I see Natalia said in the chat, we might want to have a wiki in order to keep large amount of information, specifically ideas in one place. That's a really cool idea. A wiki or a website or something like that, just that everyone can see what's going on. Nina says that laser cutting and 3D printing training can be taken in Eng 3. Absolutely, which is one of the reasons I'd say absolutely go for that. It was amazing. Grace is actually the one that trained me on a lot of 3D printing work. So thank you, Grace. You're the best. Ooh, we have another guest. So we are letting Wendy in. Talia says, since we are remote, we might as well take the opportunity to really double down on supporting software skills, example, CAM. Yeah, computer modeling, we could definitely do SolidWorks trainings if that would be something that you guys would be interested in. Maybe Corel Draw, Grace. That's a great idea, and it's something we can look into.
Yeah, so there are obviously going to be access issues with things like software licensing, but we will organize as many virtual tutorials as are practical given our resources.
Yeah. So the next question that I saw, are they still remodeling and expanding the ESDC? Yes. Would one of the ESDC folks like to explain that in more detail?
Yes.
Ruby, do you want to take this one?
Yes. It's still going to be remodeled and expanded. However, given the lovely circumstances, it's going to be a bit more on a back burner. But unfortunately, just expect that the ESDC is not going to be the ESDC that you left winter quarter for a while.
Fair enough. It's a long-term project of expansion, as far as I understand. So ultimately, it's going to be wonderful. In the meantime, we're going to work around it.
I see we have a question or a hand raised for
Yes.
Catherine.
Oh, another Catherine. Hold on.
Yeah. So I was wondering if like any future plans include either help with like projects or any collaborative projects so that we could either get more design and hands-on experience and how to like build something with our newly found knowledge in this club.
That's a great question. Do you want to?
Maybe we can utilize the Slack for that. So it's not just like us four, but this is an entire community. Like, look how many people joined this meeting, 48 people. So if you feel comfortable in sharing like design ideas on the Slack channel or some other medium, then feel free to do so. Or if you have like specific questions and like targeted questions for maybe either Grace, Ruby, Catherine, or I, then definitely send us a message, and that's totally possible, I think.
That's everything you said. Fantastic. We are also talking about potentially having like competitions where we meet up and work to design something. So we were talking about like marble racing. I know Ruby has some experience there.
Catapults. Everyone should build a catapult.
You get the idea. So we are still, again, in kind of the design phase of this club. I know we've talked about having short-term projects where we meet up and have like a marble racing competition or a catapult making competition. We've also talked about longer-term projects, but that's still kind of on the back burner for while we're developing the kind of community training skills work. Grace, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I have been working on background developing a few different things, like small projects that take, say, a quarter. I've been working on an animatronic for a while. I think that would be a really great outlet. I also would like to hopefully at some point begin hosting kind of like design office hours where we can come together to collaborate, whether somebody's working on a personal design or a group project. If they just want input and help and revision from their fellow machinists, it would be an excellent place to do that.
Would it be possible to do a live survey of a few questions? Catherine, Grace, Tara, really quick.
I can pull. What kind of question do we want to?
Gauging, I can just ask it and do check marks, but I want to gauge like who has access to tools at home for the potential.
I'd say yeah. Can you guys use the yes and no buttons in your participants tab?
Yeah.
Yes, you have access to, what kind of tools are you talking about specifically, Ruby?
So hammers, duct tape, screwdrivers, wrench, potential for scrap materials, if any of those apply to you, that would be cool.
And yes and no are both totally reasonable answers.
Yeah, we don't expect you to buy anything.
Not all of them. So,
okay, cool.
what's exciting is that I'm seeing 31 yeses and 2 nos. So a lot of people do have access, which is wonderful. It's cool that you guys have got that opportunity during this time. If you don't, also feel free to reach out to us. We will do what we can to make sure that there's availability depending on what's going on. Again, we don't have money yet, and we would like money. Money helps. Money helps everything. There's one thing that Engineering Without Borders has taught me, it's that you need money. International travel is expensive.
So true.
Larger tools, like, do any of you have garage parents with like saws or experience with bigger machines at home? Just out of curiosity.
Okay, so I'm seeing the numbers changing. I'm gonna give it a second to get to equilibrium. Okay,
cool. Soldering irons, 3D printers, smaller maker tools.
Even fewer. A few though. That's cool. Okay, so
that's all my questions. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Wait, I have a question. Well, I'm not sure if it's gonna do yes or no's on this, but I kind of wanted to know if like using the Instagram like story as a medium to get ideas like on a regular basis, is that accessible to you guys, or do you guys like prefer like Facebook, use Slack? Just trying to see where I should put like a majority of like my questions. I'm planning on like sending out like, oh, any thoughts, that thing that you put in your Instagram story is like, have any questions for us on the Instagram story, and you guys just plug it in. I think I'm mostly going to be using Instagram, but depending on which one you guys use the most, I'll probably cater for that.
Slack.
Okay, so if Instagram works, say yes. If it doesn't work or it's not favorable, say no. And then everyone who did not vote, I'm assuming that you guys are yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna actually double check with you. Which you're all seeing now.
Oh, cool. Technology, it's great.
Well, that's great. This is also my first time doing a poll in a meeting, so this is exciting. So vote based on what you'd want to see used for this kind of thing. And then I see there are a few more questions in the Zoom chat we can address after this. And then also, Jennifer, I see that you have your hand raised, so we're going to get to you soon. Discord. That's an interesting point. I'm honestly inclined to say I haven't had great experiences with Discord, especially due to the tendency toward anonymity. I would want this to be something where people take responsibility for what they're saying. So yeah, I'd say Slack over Discord just because it tends to be more connected to the university. Like you said, Allison, Discord can go badly sometimes. It's often also a wonderful place. I've got some great friends on there, but given this is going to be a little bit more official and academic, I'm going to say probably more along the lines of Slack. Has everyone voted? If anyone else wants to vote, I'd say vote right now. Not seeing any more votes, I'm going to end the poll and share results. So, did I say there was a right answer? Is that what it is turning up red? Or it just went the most?
It's just the most.
Okay, okay, that's good to know. Again, first time with this. So Instagram and Slack are the most popular options. Facebook would be okay, but yeah, actually I don't really see Facebook for design ideas myself either. Then maybe a website. Tara, you got that?
Yeah, I got that. Thank you. Perfect.
Okay, so I'm going back into the chat and looking at the questions. When is Eng3 usually offered? Love this club. Oh, thank you. Do you want to take that one?
Okay, so it is offered in fall, winter, and spring. You don't have to be an engineering major. I think you get a PTA just by saying you're interested in maybe having an engineering, getting in an engineering department. That's good enough, okay? But you don't have to. So fall, winter, and spring. It's online this quarter, obviously, and we're waiting to hear about next quarter, what's gonna happen. It'd be great to have it in person, at least have the studio in person. A big part of it is going into the ESDC and 3D printing and laser cutting. But we gave all the students this quarter got a take-home Arduino kit. So it was kind of cool. It's not really machining, but some hands-on. Cool.
Thank you, Dr. Mullen. Okay, so I'm gonna ask another question in Zoom and get to Jennifer. So how many hours a week do you think meetings and potentially workshops will take place? I'm a member of another club and I really want to see if I can make time to participate in both clubs. That's an excellent question. I totally get it. I'm an Engineers Without Borders and we are a lot of hours a week. So I'd love to hear what the other board members have to say. I'm gonna put out there that we aren't gonna have things like an active member status. So it's really as many hours as you want to put in. But I'd expect meeting an hour-long meeting once every 1 to 2 weeks, plus workshops, which you can come to as many or as few as you want to. But those would be a few hours. What do the rest of you guys think?
This club is meant to support you guys, the members of the club. And so we're not going to put a time commitment on you. This is supposed to be here to support you when you need it, hopefully how you need it. And so it's kind of a sliding scale. It's a lot of times in machining, what my boss has always said is you get out what you put in. And so when you want to learn more advanced things, it is going to take more time. That's just a fact of learning new skills. But there will not be an actual formal commitment to join the club.
Tara, Ruby, do you have anything to add to that?
Perfectly said. I don't know.
Cool.
Ruby?
It can be as much or as little as you want, but we hope you love us and join us. So we hope on the more side.
Expect that. Okay, Jennifer.
Okay. So I had an idea in terms of the fact that we have to do everything probably have to do everything virtual fall quarter.
Yeah.
My idea is I mentor the high school robotics team for FIRST, and because everything's been canceled, we've been doing everything virtually through Slack. And so my idea was kind of, we spend a quarter building something together, like, you know, they're building a robot, but we all vote and decide on a project that we're building, and we spend a quarter learning how to build it on CAD. So we have a virtual model of it on CAD that we're learning to build. And then when we're finally allowed into the machine shops again, then we can break up and build the parts to that object. And so that way we're not wasting a quarter, like not wasting, but spending a quarter kind of doing nothing. We're building a skill in a different area, because machining is only as important as the design you have. So it's learning how to make the design readable so that anyone can read that design print and like be able to machine it. So if that could be something that we can do, we can all like decide on something to build, like design together on CAD, and then you can learn how to use CAD.
That's wonderful. I really like that idea. I think that's something that, like you said, we'd want to vote on. Possibly at a later time once we have a little more structure based in, but I really, really like that idea. So thank you so much. That is fantastic. Anyone else want to say anything about that?
You're coaching the team. That's really cool.
Fantastic to have that experience too. We love that. Oh man, we have so many messages in the Zoom chat. You're all wonderful, and I really appreciate you. We're going to get through as many of these as we can. The meeting is supposed to end in noon, but I'm fine with staying longer. I just don't want to take your time up if you have places to be, because it is going into week 10 and things are interesting. So we're going to get through as many questions as we can. Avery said a lot of software and CAD programs are offering discounted free licensing right now. Fantastic. That's definitely something we should take advantage of. SolidWorks for the win. We love that. Onshape is a great resource to use. It is free for 3D modeling and printing. That's wonderful. Would somebody be willing to write that down? Does someone have access to paper? Grace, Ruby, Tara?
Hey, what was it? Sorry, I was looking at the comments.
Onshape. It's a great resource.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Grace is currently scribing.
Wonderful. If the HDC opens, can we do small group trainings even without corona restrictions? Training large groups of people on one machine is hard when everyone wants to gather around and see some small detail. Grace, you do trainings.
Trainings are actually always small group. Large group trainings don't provide the level of, like you said, detail orientation and actual like one-on-one time in order to keep machining safe. And so any trainings that happen will be small group, will be by sign up, and will be limited. As I stated before, as we all, I think all have emphasized a lot, machining is dangerous, and so we have to be very careful about safety, which will limit how many people we can train at a time, but we are committed to trying to get training to as many people as we can.
Thank you. An army of personal flamethrowers. That could be exciting. We could partner with Student Startup Center in Banner as well as to host events training. I love that idea. We definitely have been talking about reaching out to Student Startup Center. Actually, using participants tab, does anyone have connections to Student Startup Center? If you could just say yes if you do, so we could, or that you'd be willing to connect with us about. See, 2 people say yes, which is wonderful. 3.
Hold on, I'll get them down.
Thank you, Tara. You're wonderful.
Was there 2 people or just 1?
4.
I believe there's 4 now.
There's 4?
I wonder if I can make the rest of you.
Oh, okay, I have to scroll down. All right.
Co-host. Yes, and Ruby.
Actually, you guys can just send me a private message of your email. That would be wonderful.
So if you direct message her in the Zoom chat, that would work perfectly. Okay. Will we have a YouTube channel or some medium to upload our recordings? Oh, wait, poll. Sorry, the poll popped up suddenly and I couldn't see anything. A YouTube channel or some medium to upload our recordings. I like that idea. I'm recording this meeting. It's going to be really big because I don't know exactly how I'm going to handle that. I may end up reaching out to Dr. Mullen for advice on that, or actually, upon retrospect, to my mom. She teaches community college and records meetings. So we're going to figure that out, but I like the idea of having a YouTube channel. Then we have some votes for where we should work. Polling, Slack. Discord, maybe not Discord. Does Slack have a computer application like Discord? Yes, it does. My 190 class Discord is a bloodbath. I've been hearing some interesting things. Slack for large groups. I'm looking for questions. Glad we agreed that there's no active member status. Will there be a membership fee? If so, every quarter? We haven't decided on that yet, but I again would be inclined to say no. We don't want there to be equity issues with people being able to afford being part of the club. I think having like a recommended donation might be an option, but there is definitely not going to be a required membership fee. Is that something the rest of you would agree with? I know we haven't talked about that at length yet, but.
Yeah, I agree. Probably not going to be a required membership fee.
Tara?
Sorry, I was writing down everyone's emails, which by the way, thank you for sending your emails to me. Sorry, repeat.
Membership fees. I'd be inclined to vote against, but what do you think?
I would say maybe donations instead. Yeah. Instead of requiring you to be a part of a community when you should be like open. It's a very open, positive community. I think everyone has the right to be a part of. Yeah, if you want to donate anything, support, we'll accept it, gladly. Thank you.
I like that. Ruby, anything to add?
I agree.
Sweet. If we have ideas about after the meeting, who should we contact? Email back to the listserv. That will get you in contact with Ruby and she can connect you to the rest of us.
We do have an email also, and maybe
also have an email. Do you want to type that in the Zoom? Well, yeah. I mean, you can also put it in the email that you're going to send out after this, so everyone will know. We do have an email. I want to say it's wmc@ucd@gmail.com. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So then that's wmc@ucd@gmail.com. But you can also just reply to the listserv that comes to us. Okay. But you can get a lot of companies to donate stuff to one of the first Women Machinists Club. It's good PR for them. Absolutely. We are going to be leaning into that. I really like that. Project. A lot of people are excited about the project. That's fantastic. Can we build a tandem bike for 50 people so we can go to the club? Yes. I love it. Yes, that is absolutely what we should do. Giant tandem bike that bends at the corners so we can be a giant snake through downtown. It's also a great way for us to let people know what we do, because they definitely are not going to miss that. If anyone is in Davis and wants to have safe small social meetups where we build things like wood, could organize that this summer. I have a couple of drills, access to saws, if social distancing stuff permits and is safe. Wonderful, Brenna. Thank you so much for offering that. If you could contact the listserv, we can talk about setting that up while also being safe. We are really leaning into the safety thing. So we are going to be figuring out what the requirements are in Davis, whole 9 yards, but it would be wonderful if we could start having community events. Onshape is amazing, fantastic. So everything is saved to a cloud so all members can do any part. That's really nice. That is definitely something I'd be interested in working with. Is WMC already a registered org with the campus student involvement, or is that something we could potentially need to work toward getting recognized? We haven't registered yet, but I'm working on it. Clubs have to re-register every quarter, not every quarter, goodness, every year. So we already have the kind of way it works down pretty well. I think the whole board is involved in other clubs as well. Do you guys want to talk about your positions in other clubs really quickly? Ruby, for instance.
Yes, I am the club lord. No, anyways, re-registering is kind of a pain in the booty, and it opens for new clubs at a specific time of the year over the summer. So the timing is pretty good for registering. I'm the publicity outreach for Davis Swing Dancers. So if you want to come get funky on Monday nights, once we can dance together again. I was former internal vice president of Engineers Without Borders. Fantastic organization. Highly recommend reaching out to them. And then I was a structures team member on One Loop my freshman year. And now I have a research position in Professor Robinson's lab. So if you're ever looking for conversations on how to get involved in research, totally reach out to me. and now a job in the ESDC that I love with my whole heart, and this club. Clubs are.
Can you talk about your experiences and connections through other clubs? Because I know you're an officer in another club.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to Grace. I didn't hear it from the first part. Oh, yeah. So I am a part of SWE. I am, for the upcoming year, I'll be internal vice president. During my sophomore year, I was a part of formula racing. So had a big hand in that. I'm also part of ESDC and also working with Professor Mullen with her Engineering 3 class. I help her with the management side of how to go about like taking the numbers and trying to make that class more efficient, and more. It already is a very, very great class. We're just trying to see how we can make it even better.
Wonderful. Grace, is there anything you'd like to talk about with your club experience or connections that people could reach out to you about?
Well, actually, I don't have that much club experience. I started working at the ESDC at the beginning of my sophomore year, and I've been working there and doing some organization as well as occasionally taking on a non-academic teaching role. So I teach not for credit training. I'm a little bit more focused on corporate engineering. So I'm currently doing my second year with Apple as an intern. And do a lot of work in the private sector outside of classes. And so if you ever want someone to talk to about getting into the private sector or working in tech, feel free to reach out.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, so I'm noticing that it's almost noon. If you guys need to head out, that's totally fine. I'm cool with hanging out and answering some more questions. But yes, Tara's saying let's take a photo.
Because we have more than like 25 people per slide, I'll have to do it like twice. So it'd be like the first 25 and then the next 25, it'd be like 2. Yeah. Go watch Falcon Launch.
Go for Falcon Launch. Ruby, you mentioned something about that when we were meeting yesterday. Do you want to briefly?
Yes, they are sending things to space again, specifically 2 people named Doug and Bob. And it's kind of a historical moment for space, for the US. So if you're interested, NASA, I believe, is streaming it live on YouTube. You should go watch it. It's great. Also, shout out to Kylie Cooper. I see she's here. She and I were supposed to head to JSC together this summer, but now we're doing it from our houses. So please go support the American Space Agency if that's something that interests you. Oh, did it get delayed again, Brenna? Perhaps. No? Okay. It very well still could get delayed due to weather, but there's a chance it's going to go off at 12:20 today, so head on over.
Okay. So quickly, let's take a photo. If you're cool with having your face in the photo, that'll be absolutely delightful. If you're not, just turn off your camera, because we want to make sure this is something everyone's okay with. So, ready? Tara,
I'm just going to do like a screenshot of, yeah. So pose. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, then screenshot.
on my own. And then again.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta like save it. Sorry, guys. Okay, and then the second one is okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. If you want to hang out afterwards, you are absolutely free to. If you guys have to head out, totally understand. It is, again, heading into week 10.
Yeah.
The Rock Finals, you're all amazing. So if you want to stay back and listen to the rest of the questions, please feel free to do so. If you want to head out, totally fine.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Nice to meet everyone virtually.
We love all of you. We're so stoked for this.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you all for coming so much. It's so nice to get to talk to you.
Awesome.
Oh, Catherine, we could also just watch the launch here if they wanted to do a watch party.
I mean, I would be down.
Thank you, everyone.
So,
It's in 20 minutes. Right?
Ruth, you want to pull that up and we can just answer questions in the meantime?
Sure. I would be honored.
So there are still more than 99 new messages in the chat. Exciting. Okay, I'm going to get through those that I can. Bring your own safety glasses for Brenna's event. Amazing. Yep. I love you, Brenna. You're the best. So yeah, Ruby is absolutely incredible and we adore her.
They're so nice.
It's the only social interaction I've had in months. Relatable. We love Bob. Yes, we do.
Do you still want to keep recording?
That's a fair point. I'm going to cut the recording. Thank you guys all so much and cutting the recording now.